In the 18th Psalm, David recites some of the great distresses and trials through which he has passed. He tells of the deep darkness of the storm that was only illuminated by God's lightning. Tells how God plucked him out of the darkness and not only lighted the sky with his lightnings, but lighted a candle in David's own heart, a candle of faith and hope and assurance that scattered the darkness about him. This suggests a very helpful idea. God means that each of us shall give forth light in our own sphere. There is a sense in which we are to add to the light of Christianity and civilization in this world. When I was a boy and lived on a farm on the frontier, we used to go to church in an old log schoolhouse in the woods. Evening meetings in those days were always announced to begin at early candlelight. There were not even oil lamps in the old schoolhouse, but there was an unwritten rule that each family attending the service should bring at least one candle. The first man who arrived lighted his candle and put it up in one of the wooden candlesticks or set it on the windowsill, fastened at the base in a little tallow drip, dripping the tallow hot and then steadying the candle in it before it cooled. And so every person who came in lighted their candle. And as the congregation grew, the light grew. If there were a small congregation, there was a very dim light. And if there was a large congregation, the place was illuminated by the light of many candles. Now the whole church is like that in so much as our added light is helping to illuminate our world. But there is a peculiar sense in which each one of us is a candle of the Lord and should shine forth in our influence and give our testimony for him. Here comes in our individuality. Every man who is a Christian, although his or her candle is lighted at Christ's fire and is an addition to the light of Christian influence in the world, will yet shine with a light and beauty peculiar to themselves. Though we are all the candles of the Lord, the truth still remains that we are all the Lord's individual candles. And he does not mean that we all shall shine in exactly the same way. Each of us should seek to give our whole selves to God with such obedience that we shall be able to flame forth a perfect testimony for him. What a high honor it is that God has given us the privilege of being individually a light for him in the midst of our world's darkness. With what care must the man or woman be made whose spirit is to be the candle of the Lord? Therefore, obedience to God must be the great privilege and desire of our lives. And this is not a hard and forced obedience, but a ready, loving, spontaneous obedience like that which a happy, trusting child gives to an adored father or mother. We must give such obedience to God as the candle gives to the flame. At the touch of the fire, the candle melts and feeds the flame with its own self. So we must give ourselves to feed the flames of love and hope and faith which testify to the goodness of God and which light up the dark world to know and rejoice in the light of God in the face of Jesus Christ.